Hey everybody, how's the apocalypse treating you? I hope you're all well. So we hit 100 subscribers. Yay! Thank you everybody. Particularly thanks to Ken and John from Ion Radio for having me on their Data Links program. I'll link that down below if you're interested in us just having a chat about Armada. The guys on Ion Radio have me on their Discord. They've been very good about promoting the videos. They've been great partners in getting us above the 100 subscribers. So yay, awesome! Thanks very much. I'm glad some people are enjoying this. We've got some more interviews that are being worked on. Trying to work in people's schedule and my schedule so we can have a talk to them. They'll be slow. The Italian Tabletop Simulator tournament is in full swing. If I get a chance later today or later on this week, we'll do a quick list run through of everybody playing. There are 60 of them, so this might be a bit ambitious. We'll see. We shall see. This may take some time. I have finished all my 3 preliminary rounds. I think the tournament started like 5 days ago, and I got finished yesterday. So 3 wins, all very good games. Tough opponents, I got a bit lucky in the middle game and got a 10-1, and the others then were 7-4, which only became a 7-4 because I killed a gladiator with the last X-Wing attack of the game, and 6-5 in a very, very cagey match. But my opponents were great. That tournament is now in full swing. The Vassalborg Cup is still ongoing. There's so much Armada. I think I saw a fly casual to 1200 Iron Man tournament online. So there's that to watch if you're crazy. Of course, there's Ion Radio. There's Downsize It, who are getting more and more content out. I'm really looking forward to Ion Radio's March Madness. And so we have had Brace for Impact are mixing up their format a bit, so that's good. But yeah, so we had some requests. So the last video, we did something for Stephen Winson, so we're going to try and do something for him with the cards he said and chips he said he had. So it's got the upgrade pack in the way. So what we've done is he's got a Raider, Arctans, a Gazanti, and a Simoon, I think, if I remember correctly. Let's double check before we tear into this. Simoon expansion, Arctans, Raider, and Gazanti arriving soon. So we just went with what you had soon. And you said you're the remembering upgrade stage of the game. So I have packed this thing with upgrades. And because you're having trouble with it, I was like, we're going to put so many upgrades. We're going to make them Christmas trees. They're going to shine bright like the star. And this is to help you remember. This take your time playing this list. But either way, so with the Raider 2, we've kitted it out in the classic decaps, heavy ion emplacements, Corvus for putting it where you want, and a weapons battery teams. So you're going to be triggering the heavy ion placements from long range, hopefully fairly reliably, I'd say, because not only have you got weapons battery techs, but on the Simoon we've got our friend Mr. Tarkin. So you can hand out concentrate fires round 1 when you're not too worried. They'll get a reroll and the weapons battery techs, and there's a good possibility, as long as you don't roll all hits, that you're getting that heavy ion emplacement trigger every turn it gets to shoot. Corvus to keep it safe, and decaps do it from long range. Then we have the Simoon. So we're trying out Moff Tarkin, and the reason why I put Moff Tarkin is it's good to learn what the commands do for a newer player, get a feel for him. He's giving you commands and a bit of flexibility. Mr. Tua, because you need to learn what ECM does and how it works, and Tarkin means that you can reliably spam it, intensify firepower. So this is to help you remember the triggers, because this is something you should be triggering the whole game. Spinal Armament, it's just extra dice. Bit of re-rolling with the linked turbo laser turrets, and then Sovereign for shenanigans. This list is shenanigans all over the place. So it's definitely kind of like an upgrade puzzle to fly, but the reason I've done that is so to kind of put you in the mindset of thinking about the upgrades and kind of giving it a hit. And I'd play this a couple of times and see then, does it help with the upgrades and triggering, remembering them, figuring out the phases. It might be too much for a new player. It might be too much for me to remember all the triggers, but I think I might try this one out. So that's your Simoon. It's your big hitting ship. It's doing a lot. It's handing out tokens. Don't lose it. Please don't lose it. And then we've got our Acquaintance command cruiser. So it's got a Hand of Justice. So this is to kind of give like the SSD back its brace, realistically. So, you know, they shoot the Simoon, your Acquaintance goes, it gives back the brace, and then, you can brace again. And you've got your ECM, so you should be using it. Reactive Gunnery, because with the Intensify Firepower, you're going to be getting hits, you know? Um, and lastly, we've gone with a Gazalti Assault, and the reason why we've gone with a Gazalti Assault is we've got that Intensify Firepower again. So anytime it's hitting, it's doing at least 1 damage, and you can concentrate fire. And then we've got, because you're a bit short on squads, we're going with the classic Boba Fett, and Bosk. You know? They won't do too much too easily, but they will hunt down a small ship and murder it, because I know your other squadrons are coming later. And then we're going Advanced Gunnery, because no one wants to give that Simoon 2 shots out the front. Capture the VIP. Your Simoon has to survive for this list to work, so you just take the VIP, and it'll make it a little bit easier. Again, both of these don't require that much interaction. And then Solar Corona, you get to learn about deployment advantage. So hopefully, Stephen, that list is a bit helpful. Now, in addition to our own regular comments section, we got a doozy out of the Data Links episode. Brad Butcher, I'd love to see if any of the 3 of you could make a good list with max squadrons that has 75% strategic squadrons. I would also love people's thoughts on how this could be possible or why it would never work. Okay. So, firstly, let's take a look at what we thought about for the Imperials on this madness. And for, like, if you're doing, like, a full squadron ball, like, let's just quickly take a look at what a Lambda is. So, and I've cheated on the Imperial. Lambda is 15 points for 2 anti-squadron dice and 6 hull. Like, it's just, it cannot fight another fighter ball. It can survive, and you can throw in Vale and Rudor, but I've done it a little bit differently. I haven't gone with the full squads for Imperials. The other thing you could do, and we on this channel warn you not to do, is the Morello Eval. Mainly because it's going to add like 50 years to your game. You might win, it might be a killer list, but like even in tournaments you're going to go to time. In casual games, you and your opponent are going to be miserable because a game that took an hour extra and your opponent had to sit there while you did strategic. I move Morello. Strategic. I move Morello. Then my ship moves and I use fighter coordination teams, which moves my strategic squadrons, which move the tokens again. Morello goes again, and yeah, like 40 extra activations. I think I've stated why we're not doing this unless specifically requested. So with Imperials, I've gone with I haven't gone with the full fighter cover. We have gone with 4 Lambdas. And then we've gone with an SSD with a massive bid. So, Here's the thinking. We build the SSD. Okay, so we've got Eclipse if we end up in a ramming situation where I ram you, you ram me, and then if somebody does overlap us, well, they're taking a face up. Quad battery turrets so we can go slow, get our bit of blue, and that'll enable both leading shots and ion cannon batteries. We've got quad laser turrets for murdering opposing squadrons who decide, let's have a crack off the SSD. We've got Agent Callus for helping murdering those guys. We've got Nita to give us, because he's cheap, and we are pushing for a 23-point bid on this to make this shenanigans work. And shenanigans is the only way I can describe this. Piet, because we've got one ship. And Nita, a bit extra defense. Riva, a bit extra defense. Vermilion, because the plan is to just keep that. And you'll notice no gunnery teams. And the reason why? Our first objective is advanced gunnery. Okay, so this is the one nobody wants to give this ISD. Okay, because that's 3 shots at the same ship, so they can't take it. So then we've got fire lanes. So basically our lambdas will flake around and put the fire lanes tokens behind us or wherever's handy. And then lastly, we have intel sweep. Okay, so this isn't as this isn't as profitable as some other ones, but it does mean you'll be able to get it easily with 4 lambdas. And like if you like with the strategic, you can, huge bid gives you a choice, hopefully, and then you force them to go first. And you've got so many pass tokens. You can, like, first or second turn, you can wait out and see where they go. Piet is great because we're generating tokens, and we're generally going to be getting 2 commands around. And you can vary what you're doing. Generally, you're varying between repair and navigate. But, whatever floats your boat. You could also switch Eclipse for Executor, or Ravager. Like any of those 3 titles are good, but this seems decent. So that's the Imperial version. Yes, we have hit the record button. That's good, James. So then Rebel version. Okay, so we have gone close to max squads. I'm not sure. It's 75 points. It's not 75%. Because, okay, the VCXs are better at probably fighting squads. Okay, they have the extra dice. They're tougher. They're not any faster. But I think 2 YT1300s and Janors, and then you've just got hull for days. And then we are trying to push as many as possible. So we've got Remus Antilles, and we've got engine techs. Now, we probably, if you're feeling, so this is the command cruiser, it can push, with 1 squadron command, it can push 6 squadrons. With the expanded hammer and Gervais Remus, all good. And then you've got like engine techs, because it's an MC80 command, and it does need to start booking it, and advanced projectors for kind of spreading around the damage. And then Sato, for, like, you've got VCXs, they can sit there and they can survive next to opposing ships and just, shrug it off. They're not going to be doing much damage to ships themselves, but you're giving a bit of black dice then to the command cruiser. And then you've got the ordnance cruiser. Now, this is all about your black dice. This will make great use of Sato. It's got APTs, assault concussion missiles. And again, you're making use of your VCXs because they are sitting there and they are surviving. Your YT-1300s are sitting there surviving, and then your ordnance cruiser has to do the work. Then we've got advanced gunnery because 2 shots from that ordnance cruiser continually out of the same arc at long range doing black crits. Fantastic plan. It might not be a fantastic plan. It might in fact be a terrible plan, but you know. Fire lanes, then we can do that. And then this is actually not meant to be Intel Sweep. This is meant to be SensorNet. You've got more than one ship to pick up stuff. And yeah, so that is the 75% strategic lists. So I'm not sure they're a good idea. In fact, I'm fairly sure you can build better strategic lists using less strategic squadrons. Like 60 points for 4 or 75 for 5 is a huge investment. And there's a couple of things there. Your opponent may pick advanced gunnery and go, no, I'm not dealing with the tokens. And they may have a plan for advanced gunnery. Your opponent may have a bigger bid and force you to go first, which is awkward. You know, there are a bunch of weaknesses to strategic. They are not the be all and end all. If you can squeeze in 2, fantastic. Particularly if you don't need to go second. If you're happy going first and you've some strategic in there and occasionally you can mess with your opponent's objectives, fantastic. And in fact, if you have fleet that wants to go first and you throw in 2 strategic and you put in 400-point bid and then you go, well, do you really want to give me second? I've got some strategic. You know my objectives are going to be a nightmare. So like, again, you're probably leaning heavily into your red being something that they really, really don't want. So let's say you put surprise attack. We'll add 2 strategic squadrons. Onager is probably the one that makes this Onager. And then, yeah, interdictor, suppressor, retrofit. So then you're doing the Gravwell, so they cannot take the surprise attack. We're doing Vermilion. We're doing, because if they give us second, we get Cataclysm. Get all the bad fields stuff. Ordnance experts. Make those blacks sing. And in fact, it can easily be veteran gunners either. Romedy, because he's fantastic like that. And then it's all about making your opponent hurt. Puzzle, yeah, because, you know. And then we throw in go with a cheap Demolisher because it's fun with Romedy. Again, do an old external racks, the ordnance experts, and then we probably want the engine techs. We want a Gazanti with Darth Vader on it, really. We want Hondo on this, because we need to do the Cataclysm trick. And for those of you not aware, Cataclysm trick is Cataclysm allows you to place a token. Hondo gives you the token first turn. So 'tis all golden. So we put Hondo on this. Actually, we put Hondo on Demolisher. Hondo's around here somewhere. We put a cheap disposable Captain Nita on the interdictor because we can burn off. And then, like, we're using up those officers fairly fast, so they can be Darth Vadered. And then we'll do targeting scramblers to give us a bit more survivability. Heavy ion emplacements to give us a bit of punch, and then decaps. We can throw in here Veil and Rooter just to mess people up. Can't because we can't afford it. So what are we doing instead? Oh yeah, slicer tools. Silly James. And then a suppressor. And then, so we'll do our fire lanes again, because that's what we're going to come get. And then potentially we can do Intel. Yeah, Intel sweep for 75. So no one is going to want to give us second, to my mind. And giving us first is not a fun option either. Because there's a good possibility that we are going to out-activate a lot of fleets with 4 ships. We do a lot of damage. If somebody does take surprise attack, you know, it, like, they better not care too much about their flagship. And yeah. So that's maybe a better way than 75% plus strategic. Anyway, hopefully we'll have some more videos coming up soon. Hope everyone's keeping well. And thank you very much for getting us to 100 subscribers. I'm flabbergasted. Flabbergasted.